Have you ever felt like you're having a bad day? Maybe you spilled coffee on your shirt, missed the bus, or got caught in the rain without an umbrella. Well, today we're going to meet some people whose stories might just put our bad days into perspective. These are tales of individuals who seem to have a personal, ongoing argument with Lady Luck herself. Get ready, because we're about to dive into the stories of the world's unluckiest people. First up, let's talk about a man who seemed to attract lightning. His name was Walter Summerford, a British Army major serving in World War I. In 1918, while riding his horse in Flanders, a bolt of lightning struck him, paralyzing him from the waist down. He was forced to retire and move to Vancouver, Canada. You'd think that's enough bad luck for one lifetime, right? Wrong. 6 years later, in 1924, Walter was enjoying a day of fishing by a river when, you guessed it, lightning struck him again. This time, it hit the tree he was sitting under, and the charge traveled through the ground, paralyzing the right side of his body. After 2 years of recovery, he was able to walk again. He'd often go for strolls in a local park. But in 1930, on a perfectly clear summer day, another bolt of lightning found him. This third strike left him completely paralyzed. Walter Summerford passed away 2 years later. But his bizarre story doesn't end there. For years after his death, in 1936, a cemetery was struck by lightning. The bolt hit one particular tombstone, destroying it. The name on that tombstone? Walter Summerford. It seems even in the afterlife, he couldn't escape his electric fate. Now, from lightning strikes to surviving almost everything else. Meet Frane Selak, a music teacher from Croatia who has been dubbed the world's luckiest unlucky man. Why? Well, his story begins in 1962. He was on a train from Sarajevo to Dubrovnik when it suddenly derailed and plunged into an icy river. While 17 other passengers drowned, Frane managed to escape with a broken arm and hypothermia. A close call, but just the beginning. 1 year later, he was on his very first and only plane ride. Mid-flight, a door blew open, and he was sucked out of the plane without a parachute. He landed in a haystack, while the plane crashed, killing 19 people. Frane walked away with only minor injuries. 3 years after that, he was on a bus that skidded off the road and into a river. 4 people drowned, but Frane swam to safety with just a few cuts and bruises. Are you keeping count? Because we're not done yet. In 1970, his car caught fire while he was driving. He managed to jump out just seconds before the fuel tank exploded. 3 years later, another car incident. A faulty fuel pump sprayed gasoline over his hot engine, causing flames to shoot through the air vents, singeing off most of his hair but leaving him otherwise unharmed. Then, in 1995, he was hit by a bus in Zagreb but only sustained minor injuries. The very next year, he was driving in the Croatian mountains when he swerved to avoid a head-on collision with a UN truck. His car crashed through a guardrail and plummeted 300 feet down a cliff. But Frane wasn't in it. He'd been ejected from his seatbeltless car and was found clinging to a tree on the cliff's edge, watching his car explode below. After all that, you'd think fate would give him a break. And it did, in a big way. In 2003, at the age of 73, Frane Selak bought his first lottery ticket in 40 years. He won the equivalent of over $1 million. He bought 2 houses and a boat, but in 2010, he decided to give away most of his winnings to family and friends, choosing to live a simple, frugal life. He said, "All I need at my age is my wife. Money would not change anything." After cheating death 7 times, maybe he realized he already had all the luck he needed. Next, we have the story of Ann Hodges, the only confirmed person in history to have been hit by a meteorite. On November 30, 1954, Ann was taking a nap on her couch in Sylacauga, Alabama. Suddenly, a grapefruit-sized meteorite, weighing about 8.5 pounds, crashed through her roof, bounced off her radio, and struck her on the hip. It left a massive, dark bruise but thankfully, no serious injuries. Being hit by an object from outer space is unlucky enough, but the real drama started after the impact. A legal battle ensued over who owned the space rock. Ann and her husband wanted to keep it, thinking they could sell it. Their landlord, however, claimed it was his since it fell on his property. The U.S. Air Force even swooped in to confiscate it for study. By the time Ann got the meteorite back a year later, public interest had faded, and she couldn't find a buyer. The constant stress and unwanted fame took a toll on her health and her marriage. She eventually donated the meteorite to the Alabama Museum of Natural History, where it remains today. A truly out-of-this-world stroke of bad luck. Now let's sail the high seas with Violet Jessup, a woman who survived not 1, not 2, but 3 of the most infamous ship disasters of the 20th century. Violet was an ocean liner stewardess and nurse. Her career of unbelievable survival began in 1911. She was working aboard the RMS Olympic when it collided with a British warship, the HMS Hawke. The Olympic was badly damaged but managed to limp back to port without sinking. No one was seriously injured. A close shave. You'd think she might reconsider a career at sea, but not Violet. The very next year, she was serving as a stewardess on the maiden voyage of the Olympic sister ship, the brand new, unsinkable RMS Titanic. We all know how that story ends. As the Titanic sank after hitting an iceberg, Violet was ordered onto lifeboat 16. As the boat was being lowered, an officer handed her a baby to care for. After hours in the freezing cold, she and the other survivors were rescued by the Carpathia. Once safely aboard, a woman, presumably the baby's mother, snatched the baby from her arms and ran off without a word. Still undeterred, during World War I, Violet served as a nurse with the British Red Cross aboard another one of the sister ships, the HMHS Britannic, which had been converted into a hospital ship. In 1916, while sailing in the Aegean Sea, the Britannic struck a sea mine and began to sink rapidly, going down in just 55 minutes. Violet jumped overboard, but was nearly sucked into the ship's propellers, hitting her head on the keel. She later said this is what saved her, as it pushed her away from the blades. Despite a serious head injury, she survived. She continued to work on ships for many more years, finally retiring at the age of 63. They called her Miss Unsinkable, a testament to her incredible, and perhaps incredibly unlucky, resilience. Our final story is that of John Lyne, a man from Britain who seems to have a talent for accidents. His life of misfortune began at a young age. As a baby, he fell out of his pram and landed on his head. As a child, he fell off a horse and cart, breaking his arm. He fell out of a tree, breaking the same arm again. When he was a teenager, he broke his arm a third time falling off a bus. His unlucky streak continued into adulthood. He was struck by lightning, not once, but twice. He survived a rockfall in a quarry, which broke his arm again. He's had 3 separate car crashes. One time, he even drove a double-decker bus into a lamppost during his driving test. After a cycling accident, he had to have a cast on his arm, and while recovering, he fell down a manhole. Over his lifetime, John estimates he's broken over a dozen bones and had more than 30 major accidents. He's been called Calamity John by the British press. Despite it all, he maintains a cheerful outlook, saying, "I just seem to be in the wrong place at the wrong time." So, what can we take away from these incredible stories? Maybe luck is just a matter of perspective. Frane Selak survived 7 disasters and then won the lottery. Was he unlucky or lucky? Violet Jessop survived 3 shipwrecks and lived a long life. These individuals faced circumstances most of us can barely imagine, yet they carried on. Their stories remind us that resilience, and sometimes a good sense of humor, can get you through even the most unbelievable runs of bad luck. Next time you feel like the world is against you, just remember Walter Summerford's tombstone or Anne Hodges's cosmic bruise. It might just make you feel a little bit luckier. What do you think? Are these people unlucky, or are they actually the luckiest people in the world for having survived? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed these incredible stories, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. See you next time.